I'm going to do a tutorial today, and those of you that subscribe to my channel will know I'm not really very keen on doing tutorials because something always goes wrong. But I made this lovely wee tag a couple of nights ago, and I just thought it was too cute not to share. If you don't have a Cricut, you can make this without a Cricut. So you can cut out all of the elements yourself with a die cutting machine or even by hand, but you may have a bit of a struggle getting the circle neat if you don't have a die cutting machine or a Cricut. So what you will need are some nice bits of sequins, some ribbon, some eyelash trim to decorate, and various bits and pieces to decorate the item. And what I usually do is I lay everything out like this so that I can see if everything matches, even down to the pearls that I'm going to use. And here I have assembled some buttons, some flowers, rosebuds, and some pearls that match rather nicely. I've also got some of this tulle with gold flakes, which is really nice, very lush. And here is, trying to think how I can make it. Here is the Welcome Home, which I have already done, and the vinyl has been put on the top just to save some time. I've cut out all the bits here, ready to go. And I have lightly distressed the edges with mint macaron ink from Stampin' Up because it was the best ink I had to match this. And you will notice the back piece is bigger, but you don't have to do that. They could all be the same size. If you are cutting this out on the Cricut and you want to use scrapbooking paper on the top, you will need to cut out 2 of these so that you can give it some nice backing. So let's get started. For the decorative scalloped edge, I don't have anything that can cut that out, so I've taken a scalloped circle and a smaller ordinary circle and fit them together and run that through the die cutting machine, and that's how you'll get this piece. And that's the first piece done. And we are going to add the acetate next. going to need the thinner one for the sides. Oops, I'm having bother with the lighting. This is why I don't do tutorials. But actually, once you've decided on the elements you're going to use, it is actually really quick to put it all together. I spend most of the time working out what colours to use and what embellishments to use. And what I always do when using this kind of tape is I take a Pritt stick and I go round the edge so that it gives me a little bit of wiggle room so that I can move it around slightly. Now I am going to sit that down and put this on top of it. You could actually sandwich it in the middle as well. That's probably not going to be straight. Oh no, it looks okay. I would usually stand right above something and do this. That's that bit done. So if you sandwiched it in the middle, you could actually just put a backing on it and make a nice wee tag. So the next thing we're going to do is add the inside. So what I'm going to do, I am going to use my Yoo-Hoo glue. I found it is really good for paper crafts because it doesn't warp your paper. But I only use it for cards and things because I'm not sure if it's acid free. I've never been able to find that out. There we go. If you've got any glue, get rid of it, because on the final stage of putting it together, you will mess it up with a splodge of glue landing on the front. So look, that's going to be really pretty. That really highlights the gold. So next we're going to use the strips. And these are bendy enough to actually move round the corners, but I do like nice, neat corners. No, that's not going to do. You are not big enough. You see how I'm just kind of moulding it around, and it's bending quite nicely there. Apart from that corner, it's not really. It's a little bit off up the top. You want it to be reasonably close to the edge because it'll give it some support. And then just fill in these bits so that you don't need too much sequins inside. And I always like to do a bit up here just to give it some extra support. There we go, and that's pretty stable there. So there we have that, and I usually, let me see, which one will I use? Actually the pinky one's quite nice. I'll use this one because there's some little butterflies there, so I can add that in. Nice green one. The other tag I made had 2 butterflies in it, but it was too much. So let's try and pick the butterflies out and just get the sequins. I also had too much sequins as well last time. Now what I should have done before I put in the sequins is run this along. This is the anti-static pad that you use for embossing, and I believe it's filled with corn flour or something like that, and I take away the stickiness from the edges. Just getting a tissue. Should have done that before I put the sequins in. There we go. And then just spread your sequins out just to see that you've got enough. And then I usually bring it right down to the bottom to get an idea of what it will look like. So I think that's enough. Hope that's not on right. That would have been a disaster, wouldn't it? And then because this piece is cut out to the exact size, it's easy enough to sit that on top. So let's take the strips off. Or the backing paper for the strips. I do have a little pointy tool that I would usually use for this bit. And be very careful not to move that sequins or it will all jump up onto the sticky strips. So keep it steady while you're pulling the backing off. One more. Just move that away. There we go. okay. And I usually would take the Pritt stick, go around the edges again so that I can move the backing around a bit. Now I'm not going to be able to see this properly because I can't stand right over it. But I do have a wee bit of wiggle room. I think that looks okay. And it's lining up with the hole. Gently press it down. And there we have the front piece. So next we're going to put this bit on, and you need to be very careful that you don't use too much glue. And I usually just smooth it out just to stop the glue spreading. I just love the idea of the vinyl on top of the acetate. Right, I've got a little bit of space there to move this around, so I'm going to try and move it over a tiny bit so that I don't cover any of the letters. And that's going to sit there. Nice. And I'll spread it out round the edges. There. Maybe a bit more. There we go. Just wipe that off my fingers before it destroys the project. It's usually at this stage that I would actually destroy my project. Just make sure it's even. It's not even there. Something is out of line. Even all the way around. You do have a little bit of time, and very gently press it down. There we go. And there's the tag. So even that is pretty, isn't it? It's lovely. Next we are going to decorate it. So what I was thinking was, oh, I forgot these. I laid these out. Well, that might be quite nice. Put like one there and one there maybe. And this. And maybe a flower. So try and group them in threes. No. Yep, liking that. Clip the end of that. And with the other one I left this on, but I'm going to cut it off this time. These are my old scissors. I wouldn't use the good ones for this. I think that's quite nice. And then you could also put some eyelash trim in. Yeah, on top of the leaves, I would say. So we'll do the leaves first. So I want a leaf to point down the way and one pointing up the way. No, maybe that way. Like that, maybe. Best thing for that is hot glue. So let's start putting them on. And I've got too much eyelash trim here. Oh, I almost forgot the tulle. Look, it's pretty. I have had this for ages. Where's the end? There we go. So we are really just looking for a little bit of tulle. And what we're going to do, oh look, it's got glitter everywhere. Just going to kind of make it into a fan like that. And what will look the best? And we're just wanting a wee bit sticking out. So just kind of scrunch it up, and I quite like it when it's more pointed at this side. And I'll cut some off at the other end. A bit more. There. Put that in the centre. Or that way maybe. Press it down. And you'll have a little bit of time to kind of fix it a wee bit. That's fine, I'm happy with that. And then add the eyelash trim, and I would usually just, I want it kind of tight fitting, so I'm just going to wrap it round there, add it here so that there's strands coming out up, down and here. More glue. Cut an end there, cut you off. There we go. That's that. And this bit here, oh, that looks really nice, doesn't it? That's nice. Now these little ends that are in here, I don't want them there, I want them round here, out the way. Doesn't feel too steady, so I'm just going to put more glue in there. That's better. Felt a wee bit wobbly there. Oh, that's taking shape now. Now, I brought out a couple of buttons. That could either go under or over. Put that right there, squeeze it in tight. No, I don't like you. This one, Squeeze it in. Right there. Yep, we've got it. We've got it. It's all trial and error. That button might look nice there. So carefully. I want the kind of narrow end in there. There. And then this one would go tight right inside this little gap here. There. How pretty is that looking? So formations of 3. So we had the leaf layer, the tulle, the eyelash trim, so that was 3, and then the top layer we have 3 flowers. And I was going to put a wee pearl on there, but I think I might like that wee button there. What do you think? I always think it looks better when I would usually stand up and look over it at this point. Next, I did have one of my little stick pins. It's not a great match because it's kind of copper coloured there, but it does have gold, and I wondered about sliding it in here because I do really like the stick pins. I think that looks lovely. Yeah, that looks lovely. Obviously, if it was going to poke out the bottom, you would need to cut a bit off. I'm always looking for ways to use up my stick pins, so I think that's perfect. I am liking that button. I am. Or that button. That one. No, it has to be green. So probably there. And then that'll balance up this corner to this corner. And then what we'll do is we will put in a couple of the smaller pearls, one down here and one up here somewhere, just to kind of balance it out a wee bit, because that's quite tall there, so we would need something in this corner and something in this corner. And what I use for that is a couple of pins, and I put a little blob of glue onto some paper. And pick up, I forgot these pearls are in, they're like all in one. So you need to cut off that sticky bit there. And it doesn't always want to come. So I've got the pearl there. I don't trust them to stay on with the sticky backing, so I just add a little blob of glue with the other pin. And I shall put this near the bottom, maybe in the centre of this flower. And you've got a wee bit of time just to move around. That's nice. And that'll go there. And another pearl up the top somewhere. That's still got a tail on the end of it. if I was going to put that there, I'm not happy. I bet you're looking at the camera and shouting, put it there, maybe up here. I'm not liking it here because it's too close to these, maybe up here. I always do that when I watch videos and people say, oh, where will I put it, here or here? And I'm always shouting, going, there, put it there. There we go. I am so happy with how this is turning out, and I think the stick pin just finishes it off nicely. Just need to decide where this is going. Maybe on top of this wee white flower right here. And the best way to get that on is by using hot glue. That's probably too much. And then that'll stabilise it as well and kind of flatten it out, because it provides an extra layer. So you see that it's nice and straight now, it's not wonky at all. Really nice. And then you would just finish it off with some ribbon. I can straighten out all the bits there. I'm probably going to fix this bit later and get the bow looking really nice, and then I would trim the ends and scotch them slightly so that they don't fray. But that is our little welcome home tag. And aren't they pretty? That's a nice gift to send somebody who's moving home. It's really pretty. You could add any sentiment onto it. You could also, if you can't use vinyl, you could stamp a sentiment onto the backing. And there it is. So that is just such a pretty little tag. I hope you like it. And apologies for the fumbling bits of the tutorial. You know I don't like doing tutorials, but it was just such a lovely tag that I wanted to do it. So thanks very much for joining me, everybody. And I'll say cheerio now, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.